Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanora Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitatvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakhatvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We have completed more or less the teaching, and the student, after contemplating on the teaching, Nididhyasanam, comes back to the teacher and prostrates and expresses his gratitude that he was so happy, and this is the highest teaching that he could get, and that itself liberates his whole life, whole cycle of life itself. So he is ever grateful to the teacher, and in the end he says, Namastasmai Sadekasmai Namas Chinmahase Muhuhu Yadetat Viswarupena Rajate Guru Rajate. So in the end he says, Dhanyosmi, Krutakrutyosmi, and so on. I am blessed indeed by the teaching, and prostrates Namastasmai Sadekasmai Namas Chinmahase Muhu. Again Muhu, again and again I prostrate to you, O teacher, and you are of the nature of Viswarupena Rajate Guru Rajate. You are the Guru Raja, you are the king among the teachers, and you shine in the whole universe as the Chinmahase, as the pure consciousness itself. Yat etat Viswarupena, all this whole world is because of, or lighted because of your consciousness, and to you my prostrations again and again and again. So in the Guru Stotram also, Majjanmana, the Mannada Sri Jagannatha Madguru Sri Jagadguruhu Madatma Sarvabhutatma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So my teacher is Jagadguru, because he is the one who taught me about the whole universe itself, and I am blessed indeed, and he is the Guru Sreshtaha. That's how a student, disciple feels about his teacher, and that's what is being expressed in the Sloka 521. After that, the teacher blesses the student, and he gives that now you can go, but you have to keep this teaching in mind. And these few slokas will take about the blessing of the teacher. This is 523. Brahma Prachaya Santatihi Brahma Prachaya Santatihi Jagadato Brahmaiva Sat Sarvataha Jagadato Brahmaiva Sat Sarvataha Pasyad Atmadrusya Pasyad Prashanta Manasa Sarvasvavastha Swapi Pasyad Prashanta Manasa Sarvasvavastha Swapi Rupadanyada Vekshitum Kimabhitaha Chakshushmatam Vidyate Rupadanya Vivekshitam Kimabhitaha Chakshushmatam Vidyate Tadvad Brahmavidaha Sataha Kimaparam Buddhi Viharaspandam Tadvad Brahmavidas Sataha Kimaparam Buddhi Viharasvadam. So Brahma Pratyaya Santatihi Jagat. So Jagat, Brahma Pratyaya Santatihi. Jagat means that which is continuously changing. Jiva Jayate Gacchate iti Jagat. And when it's continuously changing, here the teacher says it is Brahma Pratyaya Santatihi. It is the flow of the knowledge of the Brahman only. Because he says Pratibodha Viditam, in every knowledge the consciousness is there. So the world is changing. How do you know? Because I am conscious of the changing of the world. So it is a flow. When there is a changes is continuously, I am conscious of the changing of the Prakriti or the Jagat, and therefore Brahma Pratyayam. Pratyayam is essentially the knowledge of the consciousness of that. Santatihi is the flow of of Brahman is nothing but the world itself. So world itself is movement of Brahman itself in the form of as though idam, the whole world of objects. And that's how you have to look at it. So when I'm looking at the world, a Jivan Mukta or the one who wants to become Jivan Mukta, also an Nididhyasana, says I have to see the Brahman flowing as though. So continuous changing of the world is my vision, because I have to illuminate the continuous, because I know that there is something changes, like the time is changing, space is changing, my movement is changing, the world movement is changing, the sun rises, sunsets, all things are moving continuously. But I am conscious of. That means the light of consciousness is illumining. Without the light of consciousness illumining, the changes cannot be recognized. May be occurring, may not be occurring. Then we can project it that it should be occurring, but knowledge of occurring only occurs because when the consciousness illumines it. And the illumination of the consciousness itself is the flow of the world, because without illumination, the flow of the world is not noticed, and therefore it becomes uncertain. So Brahma Pratyaya Santatihi Jagadaha. So one has to recognize that. In essentially, that I can see the world, and seeing the world is illumining the world, and illumination is what? By consciousness entity. When I am conscious entity, what is the changing? In the changing thing, there is a constant idam, existence is there, that asti. Therefore, Brahman existence itself as though moving, and consciousness illumining that. So essentially, Brahma Pratyaya Santatihi Jagat. So I have to see the world movement is also Brahman movement only. So it itself becomes his vibhuti only. Jagadataha Brahmaiva Sat Sarvataha. So Sarvataha Brahma Eva Sat Swarupataha. So in the form of existence it is moving. Existence doesn't move. The Nama, Rupa, names and forms. Nama means name, naming means knowing, naming is knowing, and knowing means consciousness is coming also into the picture as Sat Swarupam. Pasyad Atmadrusha Prashanta Manasa Sarvasvavasthasvapi. So here the teacher instructs also in a way, Sarva avasthasvapi, in avasthasu api, in all avasthas, in every, that means waking state, dream state, deep sleep state, or in the waking state, in every perception, every contribution, every movement of it has to be recognized in that. So Pasyad Atmadrusha Prashanta Manasa Sarvavastha Swapi. So Sarvastha Avasthasho api, in all things, in all activities of that, says that Prashanta Manasa. So I had to recognize the existence in the form of world, and also recognize the consciousness, because of the aware of which I am able to see the movement of the world also. So for that I need a Prashanta Manasa. That means calm, quiet mind is required. And this Pasyan Atmadrusha, this vision has to be done by Atmadrusha, by the vision. Here Atmadrusha is Antardrusha, by inner vision of the reality. So Pasyad Atmadrusha Prashanta Manasa Sarvasvavasthasvapi. Rupadanya Daveshatum Kimabhitam Chakshushmadam Vidyate. Just as when I open my eyes, Rupa Anyad Avechitam, I cannot but see. Rupa means forms. So Anyad Avechitam Kimabhi, I cannot see, but I cannot but see. Chakshushmadam Vidyate. So say I open my eyes, and if mind is behind the eyes, I cannot but see the world, see the objects, and therefore the world. As I keep turning around and watching around, I cannot but, as I am transacting, I have to open my eyes. I cannot even walk without closing my eyes. I will fall down. Therefore when I open my eyes, I cannot but see and therefore it becomes so natural to see the world that is in front of me. Objects are perceived as soon as the eyes are working, the mind is working, and there is enough light. All the conducive environment is there. I cannot but see. I don't have to make any more effort in order to see. It is because the mind is already there, my eyes are open, I cannot but see what is happening there. So he says, Badram karne bhikshunu, Badram karne bisruniyama deva, Badram pasyema. Let me see auspiciousness. It doesn't say I'm going to close my eyes so that I don't see unauspicious things. But how do you know it's unauspicious unless I see it? So Vedanta understand this is Badram karnebi srunayama, and let me hear auspicious things. I don't have control on it. So make sure that I hear only auspicious things. Inauspicious things, let them go without my knowledge or recognition. So the Badram means auspicious. Badram me pasido. Let me also hear, let me also see auspicious things, because I cannot but see as soon as I open. Just as when I open my eyes, I cannot but see. Tadvat Brahmavidaha Sataha Kimaparam Buddhe Viharaspadam. For the realized master, he cannot but see Brahman, because he understood that he is Brahman. Just as I cannot but see the forms when I open my eyes, same way that a jnani cannot but see the whole universe. So it is just like it becomes so natural. Right now I am paying attention to the Nama Rupa and then get carried away with the Nama Rupa. Now I also pay attention to the Nama Rupa, but recognize that it is Brahman expressing in a different way. So it is essentially the knowledge of the interpretation of what I see is different. At that time, Ajnana Kale, I am paying attention more to the Rupa objects and the forms and attributes, and if they are sense objects, then my value system on top of it, I like it, I don't like it, I hate it, I am neutral, all those things are happening. I project my own value system on top of what I see. Whereas now I am projecting what? I am projecting now my understanding. What is that? Everything is nothing but Brahman. So he sees nothing other than Brahman in every vision, in every drishyam, and that's why Tadvat Brahmavidaha. So one who knows the Brahman, Sataha Kimaparam Buddhe Viharaspadam. So when the Buddhi is moving around in the objects of knowledge, then it cannot but recognize the presence of the Lord, which cannot be seen, but it means he has cognitively understood that it is Brahman only expressing in different form. It becomes a vibhuti. Until then, one has to practice this. After that, it becomes a natural for a Jivan Muktaha. Let's look 524. The sloka is 523. 524 by the teacher. Kastam paranandarasanubhutim utsrujya sunyeshu ramate vidvan. Kastam paranandarasanubhutim Usrujya sunyeshu ramate vidvan. Chandre mahahladini dipyamane chitrendru malokaitum ka ichet. Chandre mahahladini dipyamane chitrendru malokaitum ka ichet. Ka ichet. That means who will want to see. So Kastam paranandarasanubhutim usrujjas sunyeshu ramate vidvan. When a jnani is paramanandarasanubhutim usrujya, is enjoying the highest happiness within the antarbahishya, inside, outside, everywhere. So not necessarily have to sit down and meditate for recognize that I am Paramananda, because I am whole pervading everywhere. Therefore everything is nothing but myself. So with that understanding, when he looks at the world, he looks at his own projection as the world, and therefore he enjoys by glory itself. It becomes Atmarati and Atma Krida. Atma Krida means play. One has to play with something other than oneself. So it becomes play as though something other than itself. He moves around the world. So everything becomes his play. That's what is called Leela Vibhuti. And Atma Rati, he is reveling in himself. When he sits in the seat of meditation and contemplating, then he is reveling in himself, because nothing else to play other than himself. So it is that kastam paranandara sanubhutim usrujya sunyeshramte, who wants to enjoy in the other sense objects, because he is enjoying the supreme happiness. Even the sense enjoyment is only coming from that only. It's only reflection of that happiness only in the sense enjoyment. But when I'm enjoying the original happiness, I don't need a reflection. And therefore, he gives an example. Chandre Mahahladini Dipyamane. When I'm seeing the beautiful moon in the full moon day, it says moon looks very big in particular times when the projection of the moon is so big. And Chandre Mahahladini Dipyamane, and it's a pleasant vision of the moon, and I'm enjoying the beautiful moon. And Chitrendu Malokayitum Kaschid, who wants to see a picture of full moon on a canvas? When I enjoy the beauty of the real moon, enjoying all over, who wants to enjoy a reflected happiness that comes momentarily in the enjoyment of sense object? When I'm enjoying the Paramananda is the original, my own nature of the Ananda Swarupam. So that means he doesn't care for anything else other than himself. So he's reveling. People may think that he's suffering, but he's reveling in himself by himself. So Atmani eva Atmanatustaha. That's why Krishna calls it Seta Prajnaha. So therefore, Prajahati Yeda Kaman Sarvan Parthavanogata. All desires are gone, because there is no enjoyment in those desires, or the enjoyment in the desires is like a moon on the canvas, when I can enjoy the real moon on a full moon night. So that's what example he gives. That means be enjoying in that. Also instructions or blessings. Swameva, this is 526. Swameva sarvataha pasyan. Swameva sarvataha pasyan manyamanaha swamadvayam manyamanaha swamadvayam swanandamabhunjanaha kalam naya mahamate. So, Swameva Sarvataha Pasyan. So, I am seeing myself only in everything. That should be your vision also as an instruction to the student, and its instruction. So, I myself is reflected in all that. If somebody misbehaving, it's myself only misbehaving in that form, because that body, mind, intellect may not know the truth. So, out of ignorance is that person is behaving, but that person is only my own consciousness and existence expressing in that form. So there will be compassion in dealing with others also will come automatically, because I cannot hate myself and I cannot but love myself. So love expressing in some form only, it comes Swameva Sarvataha Pasyan. Everything that is seen is only myself only as a reflection. Manyamanaha Swamadvayam. The Manyamanaha, the one who is essentially contemplating one, the Manyamaha, who is contemplating on the reality, is essentially sees everything on Swamadvayam. Myself in as though apparent plurality. Advayam means appears to be Dvayam, but there is no real Dvayam. It is Advayam. It is non-dual. Non-dual is the duality that I see is negated from the understanding of. I don't know. Internet got stopped. We'll continue again. Swameva parvataha pasyan manyamanaha swamadvayam. So one sees oneself in the world itself, pasyan sarvataha, everywhere, and all the time also. So sarvakaleshu sarvataha. Manyamanaha, the one who is contemplative one, that means who is one who has recognized through cognitively that he pervades everything in spite of apparent duality, Swam Advayam. So therefore, appears to be duality. I am different from the world. At the same time, I understood that I am also the world too. So Madvayam, Swanandam Abhunjanaha, Kalam Naya Mahamate. So he addresses the student, a Mahamate. Oh, essentially, Mahamati means one who has a supreme intelligence, or one who has the subtle intellect, a Mahamate. Swanandam Abhunjanaha. So you enjoy Anubhunjanaha, Swanandam Anubhunjanaha. So enjoy your own happiness reflected all through. That means your own Ananda Swarupam is reflecting in terms of when the mind is calm and quiet, you are enjoying the reflected happiness also. At the same time, you are enjoying your own happiness as Swarupa Anandam. So it says Kalam Naya. That's how you spend the rest of your life. So here the teacher is telling the student, now you have realized, now keep that understanding all the time and spend the rest of the time as provided by the prarabdha. So the body, mind, intellect will continue, and not only that continue, you have to provide now whatever you understand, pass on the knowledge to the others, and that becomes the Rishi Runa also. So Acharya Runa. So you have an Acharya Runa, because just as I taught you, you have to teach whoever comes with a sincere request to learn, and those who are deserving students, you have to teach them. That's also implied, and that's how Kalam Naya. So spend the time in this way. Whatever you do, keep this mind all the time, because Sarvataha Swameva Pasyam. All the time see yourself, therefore you cannot hate yourself, you cannot be jealous. All those negative qualities automatically fall down, because you cannot battle yourself. That is the Anandam, is the Paramananda Swarupam. You enjoy yourself because everything else is only for your happiness, and yourself there is no cause, because your nature itself is happiness. Therefore your love for yourself is supreme, and that's what essentially implied. With this we stop. We will take a few more slokas of the instructions by the teacher later. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.